Okay, so here is a look behind the scenes at the Fearless Public Speaking program that launches this month. If you're watching this in real time, it's currently March. So just getting the information together, a little bit about what we're covering, the 5-minute blueprint for those of you who struggle with having that blank sheet of paper or a blank screen. Where do you get started? What do you say? And this is a process I did. I've been using it for 23 years now, and it's an exercise I did when I was coaching at the University of Oxford again last year. I've been coaching their fellows for the last couple of years, and they asked me to come in and do a presentation skills and public speaking masterclass. So I thought it would be fun to give them all the 5-minute exercise, their faces when I said, here's your blank sheet of paper. In 5 minutes time, you will have an outline for a talk. They were like, really? And 5 minutes later, they had an outline for a talk, which is absolutely fantastic. Also going to be looking at, okay, what if you have done all your preparation and you go blank and you do the night, the rabbit in the headlight. So we've got a 90-second exercise there to keep yourself in the flow state. We'll also, of course, talk about what to do if you're overcome by fear as an anxiety. And a big one that came up for people who completed the survey and putting this program, this new version of the program together. A lot of people talked about audience engagement. How do you connect with your audience? How do you keep your audience engaged? And how do you stop them just being completely bored and losing them? So we're going to look at that as well. So that's just high chunk in terms of what we're looking at. It's an online program. It's going to be live if you're joining us in real time. Actually, and this is one of those programs that, unlike my usual programs, it won't just be, oh, I missed it, I'll just join whenever. While it's running, it's running. When it's finished, it's finished. So, but of course, those of you who sign up, you'll get access to the recordings, of course. And there are a couple of tiers. We'll talk about that in a minute. So if you want to join the pre-registration list for the Fearless Public Speaking course and program itself, you can use that button there. And yeah, whether you are a seasoned public speaker already or you're just starting out, this masterclass program is definitely designed for you. We will be covering the basics, doing things step by step. You'll have all of the information at your fingertips as we do the programs. They'll be uploaded into the portal. And I'll also be sharing some of those nuances that I picked up over the last 22 years that I've been a speaker, and also over the last 30 plus years that I've worked in the events industry. So something there for everyone. And I know when we talk about presentation skills, public speaking, people often, it just feels insurmountable, particularly if you feel as though you were born that way or you are an introvert. And I get it, I hear you. I am an off the chart introvert in terms of MBTI, the Myers-Briggs type indicator. I'm quiet, I'm shy, and I was terrified of public speaking right up until age 32. Also, people might go, well, actually, I'm all right, but I just don't know where to start. And in terms of improving the skills, ironing out the specific places where they have problems, because people often say, oh, I hate public speaking, but it's a blanket statement. And when you break it down, there are particular aspects they don't like, or particular aspects that they are fearful of, or particular aspects that are the dark hole, the unknown. It's not necessarily everything. So if you've been struggling to go it alone, trying to force yourself into it, doing the white knuckle ride when you turn up to do a live stream or Zoom or Teams, whatever it is, there is a far more easier and effective and time efficient way to do all of this. And reluctance to public speak is probably costing you a lot. So the question I pose here is, are you in the 77%? Or are you in the 23%? Because it's a big market. So you'll see that when you go onto the page. Now, after completing this program, you will have an easy to use, what they call a rinse and repeat, for designing attention grabbing presentations within minutes. And you can use it over and over and over again. It is the exact same process I have used to design my workshops, my trainings, my presentations over the last 22 years. If you've been to one of my workshops, it starts with this strategy that I'm going to be sharing with you. So you can use it for a straightforward keynote talk or a very in-depth training program. It will definitely give you freedom from the overwhelming nerves, anxiety, and worries that often come with public speaking, presenting. It will be an opportunity also for you to hone your public speaking and presentation skills so you feel even more comfortable on stage, and you know that you have the tools and the strategies and the techniques to both keep yourself in state and make an impact with your audience, because that's what you're there to do. And the confidence to say yes to speaking opportunities, because when I was going through the surveys, there were people who had said they had turned down opportunities. One person, for example, said they were invited to go back and speak at their university, which is just a lovely thing. Well, it would be a lovely thing for me to do. And they turned it down because of the fear of public speaking, of being up on stage, being in front of an audience. Someone else was saying, oh my gosh, it's just that overwhelming feeling when all eyes are on you. So giving you the confidence to take some of those wonderful opportunities that are presented to you, or go out there and create your own opportunities. So the world has changed. Whereas before you might have been able to do a bit of hiding and deflecting, I don't think I've met many people, particularly in work, in terms of work and career, where they now do not at some point find themselves having to take center stage, having to be on camera, leading a meeting or presenting an idea, answering a question. What do you think about that? Oh, so we're all now mini presenters, whether you like it or not. And so, putting this one together to move people more easily into that place and that space. So you've got a couple of options when the page is launched, and we'll talk more about this in the next couple of days and weeks. I'm just working on the back end of this, but you'll have the pre-launch, and that's for the VIP. So the VIP, you get the live video webinar workshop, which is a full immersion version. There'll be quick reference modules as well. So what I'll do is some of the key things that are quite common, I'll create little mini modules around those. If you just wanted to know, how do you prepare for a presentation at short notice? Let's say you get a call from a TV or radio station, as I often do, and they're like, can you speak? We go live in an hour, 2 hours, 20 minutes, five, sometimes it was like 5 minutes, I'm really not kidding. So you might want to go just to that little module, for example. There'll be the live group Q&A sessions where come with your questions, your challenges, etc., and I will answer those questions for you. There'll be some bonus PDF guides, like some quick reference guides, because it's not always going to be convenient to log in somewhere and watch a video or listen to an audio, but with the guide you could save them and just have them where you need them. There will also be some little bonus mini masterclass sessions, because there are things that are not necessarily going to be part of this program. However, they're interesting and they are related. So for example, I'm going to be doing a little webinar module on imposter syndrome, for example, because that came up in the survey. I'm going to run that as a free webinar first time out. So again, if you're watching this in free time and you're on my e-newsletter list, I'll be sending that out shortly, actually in the next probably 20-30 minutes. So come and join me for that one, and then that will go into the bonus mini masterclass. There'll be a private coaching session for those of you doing the VIP version. So yes, it's great to have great Q&A, and it's also really nice if you can have that one-to-one time and get your specific questions answered, particularly if it's something sensitive that you don't want to be talking about in a group setting. You'll have lifetime access if you're going for the VIP version, and there's an accountability portal. That's optional, but what it means is, let's say you commit to doing something, you can put it into the portal and it will actually email you and remind you. And it can also be set up so that I can see what you said you're going to do, and I can then go, oh, you haven't ticked that one off, and I can give you a bit of a nudge. So that's the pre-launch, and that's 497. we're then going to have, when we do go to launch, we're going to have the general program, and that's the live. So you have access to the live videos, you have the quick reference modules, you'll have a live group Q&A, one live group Q&A session rather than all of them, and you'll get 2 bonus PDF guides rather than all of them, and you have 12 months access to the material. And then we'll have the VIP program, which is what I've just explained, just at a different price, which the launch will be $997, and you have lifetime access for that. So that's what these 2 are the same. It's just that one's the pre-launch, one's a launch. Yeah. So a few simple steps and a few days can absolutely change your life. So you've got a little bit here about, you can decide if the program is right for you. So if you want to improve your public speaking skills, both online and offline, if you want to overcome old fears, worries, anxieties, imposter syndrome, if you want to learn how to keep your audience engaged and deliver value, if you want to learn how to more easily deal with difficult questions, handle live Q&A, because I know that's one thing that often scares people, because they're like, you don't know what people are going to ask you, so you can't plan for that. So there's a few little nuances and tips and tricks that you can use there to make it a lot easier. How you can feel relaxed and comfortable when you're up in front of an audience, dealing with overwhelm, the rabbit in the headlights thing, the 5-minute strategy for going from blank sheet of paper to structuring your presentation, having simple yet really powerful ways to make your presentations more interesting, impactful, to the point, and bringing dull presentations to life, because I don't just do the personal development workshops, I also do corporate workshops. They're not always particularly exciting. Prince 2 for project managers or finance for non-financial managers are not the most exciting topics. However, people always, they're coming going, oh God, here we go. And they always go away at the end like, wow, that was amazing. So much better than I thought it would be. Are you running anything else? When are you coming back? So we'll talk about how you can do that. Strategies for remembering, recalling what you want to say. Now, with regards to that one, that's one of the bonus modules, for example. That's not necessarily related to the fearless public speaking. Of course, it's important. So what I've done with this one is you get module 1 of my photo reading workshop, which is the accelerated learning, how to read at 25,000 words per minute and remember and recall what you've read. So rather than me going sort of off on a side tangent with that, I've just decided to add module 1 for the VIP program. So you'll get access to that. We'll do the 90 seconds to instant calm strategy, because that's super important for those times where you're caught off guard. One question that came up quite a lot, and people sort of tick that one on the survey, was delivering to large audiences, or at the other end of the scale, smaller, more intimate, what I call the all eyes are on you group. So we'll definitely talk about that. And there'll be a lot more besides. And this is an opportunity to, as I was saying earlier, tapping into some of that 30 years of event management experience, and the 20, well, it's 20, actually I need to change that, 22 years, it's 22 years now, we'll be 23 this year when we get to October. So 23 years of public speaking skills, and that's both in terms of being out there myself speaking, coaching other people, running training courses, both for personal development groups and corporations. I've been a management consultant since 2003, mainly working in central and local government. So we've got those skills, a bit of a summary, and then a little bit about me, who I am, what I do. You've got some client testimonials there, so you can meet some of the fabulous people who have gone from this not being their favorite thing to absolutely crushing it. And if you know any of these people, you will know that I speak the truth. I'll just, like Rachel CK, for example, the bath butler, she does all things oils with doTERRA, but she said, for example, for those of you who were asking me about my big talk in January and shared my joy that I was so happy with how it had gone, Marilyn Devonish is the awesome lady that enabled me to breathe, think and talk all at the same time. And now you can do it too. We've got Natasha Waldron. I remember when I said to her, oh, there'll come a time where you absolutely love being on stage. She's like, I don't think so. And this is what she said a few weeks later. Marilyn Devonish, thank you so much. I have no idea what you did to me, but I thank you from the bottom of my heart. And she's the owner and director of an organization called British Maids. And then we've got Erica Brodnock. I've started, so I might as well introduce you to all of them now. But Erica says, I knew it was, well, she's talking about a program that I was running as well. I knew it was for me. I needed a little magic in my life, if only to make it through the TED talk, because she got in touch. She had done my photo reading workshop as well. And she got in touch and she was saying, I've been invited to do a TED talk. I'm terrified. And so I said, okay, let's do a breakthrough session. So she said, I worked through my speaking angst with a combination of the breakthrough coaching sessions with Marilyn and the Matrix re-imprinting, and went on to deliver a talk that has now been watched and shared by over 1,000 people. Now that is markedly out of date, because that was just after she'd done the talk, and this was a couple of years ago now. She was at the time the founder of Charisma Kids. She's now got a new organization called KinHub, which is amazing, and they're focusing on the corporate market. And she was a regular on Sky News. I think the picture on my website is her on Sky News. So these are just some of the people that have been through the doors. And so you might be listening to me now, looking at this and going, oh my God, if only. Trust me when I tell you it is possible. So a little bit about myself. There's I have to change that. That's really out of date. I've done hundreds. I did over 100 interviews and wrote articles, etc. in 2021. So, and I've been writing newspaper articles since 2003. So there's no way I'd get all of them on there, but this one, the montage from a couple of years ago, things like Forbes, loads of stuff for BBC Radio in terms of interviews, etc. Huffington Post, People Management, Chartered Management Institute, Up Journey, yeah, you name it, I've probably done it. So I'll update that image a little bit in terms of live media. So this is one, again, you often have very short notice. So this is myself with Vanessa Feltz talking about one of my specialist subjects, which is remote working. I've been a specialist remote working implementation consultant since 2003, which means going into organizations to write, design and implement remote and flexible working policy and strategy. So they had a story break in the news that day. I get a call from the producer saying, can you come back onto Vanessa's show? Yeah, no problem. So that's a little video where you can watch that appearance. And then we have the course curriculum in terms of what we're going to be including. Now, this is going to be a little bit scanty when you get there, because we are doing the modules in real time. And then once the modules are done and I've got the recordings, they then get uploaded. And I'm also haven't decided if I'm going to just use this one or put the live module somewhere else, because there's a couple of platforms that are quite nice and they have a few different features. But either way, they're either going to be here or somewhere else. So it's not going to be fully populated because we haven't done it yet. So that's it. This is a fuller explanation from Erica, a little bit more from Rachel CK, and then we've got the pricing here. So actually, I was wondering if there's anywhere I don't think I can add a link here, but yeah, these are the prices. So with these two, you don't need to look at those yet. This one will be the one if you wanted to do the pre-launch when I do launch this. And then once the pre-launch is over, this one, the 497 disappears and we go for the 697 or 997. So that's it, really. That's it. So the Fearless, and for those of you who were in what we call the first 10 group, because I had a launch, well, a little soft launch last year, and that was, I wanted a group of people in who could give me feedback, answer the survey questions, and help shape the program. So I'm not just putting in it what I think it should be in it. It's really based around what do people want and need, and coming up with things that I may have not thought of or haven't really thought, it's not important. So for example, the imposter syndrome, that wasn't in the first iteration when I just ran this as a one-day workshop rather than program with all the supporting materials. But it's like, actually, people have mentioned it. I think that's a great idea. I'm going to do something around that. So for those of course, the first 10 got a completely different price, almost next to nothing, to come join us. So yes, I would love to have you on board. I would love to have you come and join us. Come to the live webinar. I'm just about to put that out and email it out. So I'll do that in a few minutes. I have put it on my Facebook page. did that earlier this evening. So join me for the free webinar around imposter syndrome. Love to have you there. And if this is your year to get out into the world and speak and shine and share your voice, then come and join me for the Fearless Public Speaking Program. Easiest way to find this, because this always a bit of a mouthful, transformationstm.com transformationstm.newzenler.com. That's the website. But what I'll also do is, once all of this is launched, and if you want to join me for the free webinar, for example, go to my main website, which is transformationstm.com, TRANCE, F for Freddie, so FORMATIONS, TM as in trademark, so transformationstm.com. You can see it here in the top of the screen. Well, I think you can. It sometimes cuts it off if I'm just doing full screen view, but transformationstm.com. Click the red Watch New button, normally on the top right. A panel will slide out. And then when that panel slides out, you'll just scroll down a bit, depending on when you're looking at this, but you will find a link to join the free webinar. You'll also find, at the moment, it's a waiting list for people who want information about the Fearless Public Speaking Program. So that'll be on there somewhere as well if you want to put your name down for that. And then once we are ready, you'll get advance notification, and you'll get a special link as well that won't go out to the public. But yes, that's it. That's it. So again, for those of you who haven't met me before, my name is Marilyn Devonish, the Neuro Success Coach, and I've been a coach and therapist since October 2000. I'm also a hypnotherapist, and I do about 20 different modalities. You name it, it's probably in there somewhere. And I'm also a certified photo reading instructor. I've been an instructor since 2002. I'm a mental health first aid trainer. And really, for me, it's always been about mindset. How do you transform? Starting with the mind, because the mind is a big part that gets in the way for people, and then going from there, and having learned myself that, wow, it is possible not just to get through presentations, but to actually love public speaking. I was like, man, I want to help other people do the same. So this program is an extension of the coaching and training, etc., that I've been doing for the last 20 years, and starting to put more of that knowledge into a system, into a format that people can more easily access, even when I'm not around them there in person. So, and actually, just to say, talking about being there in person, the testimony that you saw from Rachel CK, I wasn't there when she took that program. What I mean by that is, she did that in January 2020, and I was on holiday, lying on the deck chair, or, well, on the beach in the deck chair, the sun lounger, and I was reading something on my iPad Kindle book, and a message popped up from Rachel saying, "I've just spent the day with you." And I remember I looked around, tipped my sunglasses and thought, oh my gosh, is Rachel here with her family? So I look around the pool, I couldn't see her. So I said, what do you mean? Are you? And she said, I've just spent the day doing your 1-day Fearless Public Speaking workshop. It's amazing. And so that testimonial from Rachel was based on doing a 1-day video webinar. I wasn't there. I'd run it live previously. She was taking herself through the recording. So even if you cannot make the live sessions, it is still super powerful. So yeah, would love to have you sign up and join us. It would be my absolute pleasure to work with you. And just to say, for those of you who are watching this at a later date, the 397 will relate to the people who sign up during the webinar. The 497 is the pre-launch. The 697 and the 997 is the launch price. So if you're watching this video, but you click a button and it takes you to something with a completely different and higher price, it is because you've missed the pre-launch and the launch. So don't be messaging me going, it says 39, I saw 397 on the workshop, I saw 497. Those offers will expire and it will be at the whatever the prevailing price is once you click the link on this video. Just to be clear about that, because I've had that happen before where somebody's watched a walkthrough video, they've seen the prices, they've then clicked years later and gone, it's a different price to the video. So that, let me just clarify that one as well. Anyway, I hope that you're in. It will be wonderful to have you join me either live or via the virtual replays. Marilyn Devonish from transformationstm.com, over and out. And I really look forward to working with you and having you tap into using your voice in even more powerful ways and sharing the message that you are here on this earth to deliver. Catch you all later.